Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to the podcast.
Good job.
Awesome.
Hey guys, welcome to the podcast. This is a super exciting episode. I'm really pumped. I have my friends Sarah Ashley Hunt and her mom Christy Hunt on the show. So I know you guys are big fans because I keep getting messages. I asked you guys to send in questions and instead I just keep getting, I love Dance Moms. I love Dance Moms. And so you guys probably do know them from Dance Moms, the show. And I just know you guys from Instagram.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. And now we're real friends.
Hey, that we are. Yes.
Instagram is funny.
Yeah,
you're like,
it is.
I know all about your life. I know like your hairdo. I know what you were doing yesterday, but I've never met you.
Yeah, it is. It's actually very personal, and I think that actually you can like develop a really good relationship on social media.
Yeah.
Like you really can connect.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so you guys reached out a while back about a shirt.
Yes.
Right? The God is Love, We Are the Outcome
Yeah.
shirt. Mm-hmm. So Ziggy and I mailed it to you guys, and I didn't know who I was mailing it to.
No.
And then I realized, oh my goodness, these guys are like famous.
Or lack thereof. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, Sarah wanted the shirt, you know. I mean, she had seen it and was like, Mom, I want this shirt. So I'm like, okay, well, I can message you guys and see how I can get it, you know?
Yeah.
So all of a sudden she got it, and her brother and her took it out just to a road.
My brother's
right
a little
up the street.
photographer. He loves taking pictures, and we go
It
out.
was a really good shot.
We go and take all kinds of pictures. It's hilarious. We go all around the neighborhood and we'll walk and go take pictures on our scooters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun. Yeah.
Well, that was the picture that everyone responded to, and then people were like, where do I get that shirt?
Yeah, it was amazing.
So I went on your Instagram. I'm like, okay, Sarah has a lot of friends.
Yeah, she does. Yes.
So what does it mean to be famous? Like, what does that mean when I say that to you?
Well,
I know,
like-
it's a stumper, isn't it?
it is. Yeah, it very much is. I'm just like very fortunate and very like blessed to have like this life and like what I've done in 13 years. Like we travel all the time and across the country, and people are like, you've been there, and I'm like, yeah, and you're like, I'm however I am, and I've never even been out of my state.
Yeah.
So
that's
it's
so true.
Yeah, very, very blessed, and I'm very thankful for all of my opportunities in my very short amount of living. So yeah.
And you know what? It's funny because people do pay attention. When they've seen you, they just want to follow along with your journey. And so it can be a daunting responsibility.
It can
sometimes.
be. It can be. And, you know, like as her mom, like we want to protect her, you know, my husband and I, her dad, and we have 3 other kids. Like we want to protect her from what is out there. But at the same time, she is out there. And we know that is the gift that we've been given. So we want to put ourselves out there, but we have to stay protected too. So at the same time,
There still has to be like a bubble around us.
Yeah, there definitely is, you know. But, you know, we do it, and we do it unto the Lord. And as long as you keep him in your entire, I don't want to say your entire projection, but at the same time, like if you have him on your mind and you are willing and able to make it him, glorify his name, he's going to totally take you anywhere and everywhere to
like
do
you said,
his thing.
I mean, you're so right. When we were just setting up and everything, Christy, you said to me, you know, everything's a tool in God's hands if we let it be.
It really is.
And we all have different things in our hands to use for him.
We do.
Is this the way you thought it would go when you had Sarah raising this little girl? Was this sort of like the way you thought the story would go?
I didn't even think that I would even start dancing.
Yeah.
Really?
But I would watch these 2 TV shows, and I learned every dance, every song. Like I'd stand in front of the television.
Yeah, you did.
And I danced. My uncle's like, "You need dance lessons." I'm like, "I don't need dance lessons."
Yeah, she thought she knew it all.
Yeah.
But that's the confidence you probably needed to go
It really was. You know, from the time that she was little, she walked really young. 8 months old, she was walking.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
She literally
That's
crawled
young.
and then walked, and like within days, honest. And she has been dancing in front of the television since she was 3-4 years old. So when she was 5, we're like, we really need to get her into dance lessons, you know?
And you could just tell that
we
was
could tell
special.
that was
because it was like everywhere I went, it was like I would do something like I'd jump over a puddle. Like I wouldn't like
you wouldn't just
It
like
would-
do the normal kid thing.
Exactly,
You would like do
yeah.
a jump move over top
Yeah,
of it.
Very much.
Yeah.
Very much.
I could see that.
Yeah.
So just as a parent, you recognized,
Just
man,
as a
we've got
parent. She was just always very advanced. Talked in full sentences at 18 months, honest to God.
I named my grandma at 4 months.
Nana. She said
crazy.
Nana at 4 months. So she was always just very advanced, and she was always around adults.
Yeah.
So we just always felt like she kind of directed us with the way that she wanted to go. It wasn't anything we pushed her into or anything.
I would order
like
my
that.
own drinks at, 5?
Yeah, I mean, she was
like,
just, you know, she would be out.
Everyone's like, oh yeah, we want iced tea. I was like, I want iced tea, no lemon.
Yeah, you know, so it was funny, but you know,
That's good. You know what? We need some strong women in this world.
We do.
Yeah.
We
And you
do.
know what? It's okay. It's okay to be strong in the Lord and also just be a confident, strong woman.
Yeah.
It is.
You know that's where your strength comes
Yeah.
from.
Yes.
Sometimes I think we don't allow ourselves to be both like strong in the Lord, and then we think that it's weird to say, "No, I'm a bold, confident woman."
Yes,
It's
Yeah.
like,
independent.
That's a good
you know,
thing.
We,
It's a good
we
thing.
we raise her to be independent, strong, bold, but honorable, integratable, trustworthy, and she has to be respectful. You know, there has to be a respect factor there, that when she knows that she's in front of a mentor or a teacher or, you know, somebody that is giving her an opportunity, that has to be her forefront is, you know, her manners and her integrity has to stand, because without that integrity, nobody can trust you. You know?
Well, that's so true.
Yeah.
And people do notice you in Target, and they probably, you know, it's
They
not
do.
just when you're on camera that it matters.
Yes.
Camera's like, that's just half of it.
It
That's
is.
not even the whole
It
story.
totally is,
It's like,
yes.
who is Sarah, who's Christy, who's
Yes.
Jody, who's Chris.
Yes.
When you just meet us at the grocery store.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have any idea. You know, they don't know your background. They don't
Yeah.
know your story. They don't, you know, and
It's just, oh, can I have a picture?
you know, can I have a picture? But you are, you know, somebody, they know you just from being maybe on a television show or maybe in a band or maybe whatever. But, you know, they follow you around, and sometimes they're hidden behind like clothing and, you know.
My dad will look at her, he's like, oh yeah, that person knows you. I'm like,
it's okay. Like,
okay,
it is what
like,
it
it's
is.
fine.
Yeah.
So, okay, how old were you when you got on the show?
I started at Abby's at 7. I just turned 7 in May, and it was, what was it, like October-ish? What was it, like, what was I, 7.5 when I got on the show?
By
like,
then,
it was like
7.5.
a couple
you're
months.
A baby. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Just a baby.
crazy.
Yeah, it was like one of my first days, and my dad's a construction worker.
Yeah.
And Abby goes, I need my roof fixed. So we go to Abby's house, and I get
was
out of the
her
car.
first day.
Was it my first day?
It was your
My
first
first day at Abby's, and she goes, "You're a ballerina," and she literally
She looked down her leg and said, "You're a ballerina." And honest to God, her kind of naming that on her forehead, that Jody has followed her through her life.
Yep.
Wow.
I mean, she is level 8 ballerina. She trains in high school, the highest
dance
level
with
at
18-year-olds.
her
Wow.
academy.
Yeah.
Like, that has literally stuck with her. And we can just see, like, every single moment in how the Lord was, he uses people to speak it out to you, and that kind of transforms your life sometimes, and you have no idea how that's going to be used, but that transformed her life.
And now you have the chance to speak words to others, which gives them the confidence they might not have on their own, which is really unbelievable.
That is, yes.
So do you love dancing?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. It hasn't wavered at all from the beginning.
No,
Not at all. Not at all.
That's pretty cool.
It is.
Yeah.
I feel like I can relate to that from a singing point of view. I sang in my hairbrush from when I was walking, like same sort of thing.
Yes.
And I think that's actually how I met the Lord. I wouldn't have been able to say it as articulately as I can now. I just knew that there was something beyond myself. There was a mystery
Absolutely.
and an experience I had as a little girl singing. I felt completely loved.
Yes.
And in that love, I felt completely free to be myself.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Yes.
Like, I wish I always lived in that place as an adult, as
Exactly.
a grown woman, because now life is more complicated.
It's so much more complicated.
And we judge ourselves. The older I get, the harder I am on myself, which
Exactly.
it's like, oh my goodness. So I always feel like when I'm on stage, I'm the most free to be myself and invite people into that place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, so
Yes.
do you feel like you're passing that on to people?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm doing what I love. What were you made to do?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
That's so cool.
I think that everybody has a niche and everybody has something that they can be good at. I just think that finding that and allowing yourself to
Finding what you're passionate about.
Exactly. You know,
Because if there's no if there's no passion, like you're like we're not
are you
going to give it
doing it
150%.
yes,
That's so true.
exactly.
Yeah.
Where do you want this to go?
Well, I do a lot of like modeling and some acting like within it, but I like definitely just want to like stick with dance and like model and act and like along with it.
Yeah.
Because that's like been my whole life. Like that's all I've known is dance.
Yeah.
So I want to incorporate that into whatever modeling or acting jobs or anything that I get.
Yeah.
Because dance has always been like my first love.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's great. I mean, you can do more than one thing.
Yeah.
That's
Definitely.
great.
Yeah.
So you're 7, you're on this show. I'm so glad you're along with her because that's crazy.
It was
were there times where you weren't together on the show where you had to do things?
Yes, I mean
the interviews we would have to do by ourselves.
Okay.
Which wasn't really much of anything. They would just ask you a couple questions, and it was like before the actual competition happened or after the fact, and we were like talking back on like the week of like what happened. They're like, oh, so Abby yelled at you about this, like how do you feel about like why she said that, or what's your mom's point of view, or blah 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 blah. So
do you feel like the show brought out the real you?
I don't think it was
in a reality
TV
TV show way.
More of a TV. I think because Sarah on the show was portrayed as a crybaby, as maybe somebody that didn't stand on her own 2 feet, or that I was like getting in the way of things. And reality TV is unrealistic.
Not reality.
It's fakeality, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not that the show is fake. It's not scripted. But I just feel like
They're
Sarah,
looking for angles.
They're looking for angles, and they edit and all that stuff. And I just think that Sarah is bold, confident. She cooks, she cleans, she helps with kids. She is. So on that show, she was portrayed as maybe like a little lamb. Somebody that was always like taken to slaughter and cried, and like that I would take opportunities away from her. But that isn't really Sarah, and that isn't me. Right. You know what I mean?
We filmed 60 hours a week for one episode, which wasn't even an hour.
Yes. And it would be edited.
It was edited so much.
Like, there's so many
So
strings,
I could be saying something to you, and they'd edit that you're saying something to her.
Yeah. I mean,
like, it's
like
crazy.
They're creating the story.
They're creating the story.
Exactly,
They're creating what our relationship is, or whatever. The one amazing thing is I being with the moms, and I was able, like to wear my faith on my sleeve. You know what I mean? I mean, they even called me Christy. I mean, they, and I'm like, look, my Christ is in my name. Like, I'm happy with that. Like, you can call me whatever you want. It's not against me, So we were able to go into it boldly with our faith, and they knew how we stood and what we stood for.
Even going into it, we were huge fangirls. We'd watch the show every single week. Like, we got so excited, like popcorn, everything. Like, we loved the show. That was like our favorite show.
We did,
Was it hard at all to watch yourselves on it?
Oh gosh,
oh, I hated it.
Because when I hear myself sing, I have a hard time. I'm wondering if it's similar.
Not my whole family, but like my grandparents, like my uncle, like my aunt, they would all come over and they'd sit there, and I would be like, why do I? So I'd like walk away and go up to my room until like the dances came on. Then I come back down to watch it, because I like I like reliving that, and it's like deja vu. It's like I don't want to live that again.
And it hurt. Sometimes it hurt. You know what I mean? It wouldn't necessarily be the best time. The one thing that her and Abby Lee Miller, if everybody watching knows Abby, she is such a huge presence in the industry, the dance world, industry, and even in Hollywood. But Abby herself loved Sarah. She had a great relationship before she was on the show. So,
but the show isn't what they make it out to be. Like, Abby's like the sweetest person ever. Like, she could be sitting here talking to you, and you would be like, wait, like, weren't you like the mean person
she's
on
not
that
like
show?
That, she isn't.
They gave everyone a character almost.
They did. It was almost like a nemesis, or somebody that was, if you would say something to Abby, like in a negative way, like she better have a costume, or she, this isn't the way, or this isn't the dance she should be doing. If you say something to Abby in a negative way, they'll spin it, and Abby will become like almost like a nemesis to you. Wow. So don't ever tell Abby what to do. Do you know what I mean? So in a way, there was that, but I will tell you this, and honest to God, I mean, Abby is just a dear friend of ours, and
that's awesome.
We love her, pray for her. We have visited her, even in the hospital. She's been going through such a hard time, but she's out now and doing a little bit better. But we've traveled so far and long to be with her, and Sarah is still under her.
Right?
We are.
The opportunities that she's given me are like life-changing.
Well, and she called it out, right? She's like, hey,
she did. She did.
Yeah, she did.
Because
I've always been, like, very tall for my age.
Yeah.
So she was like, you're a ballerina. Like every single one of my solo costumes are either blue or white.
Wow.
And she goes, that's your color, blue.
Yeah. Yeah. She knows.
She, like,
yeah.
Well, it's so interesting because I have a hard time too if I'm like watching back tape of myself singing or listening to our demos. I'm like, I hear the imperfect things.
Yeah.
And we all see the imperfections.
We do.
When really, if we were all changing everything about ourselves we didn't like, there'd be nothing unique about each of us.
Yep.
There would be nothing.
And like even though there's times, especially when I was a teenager, like I wanted to change my nose, I wanted to like make my thighs smaller.
Yes.
All these different things.
Absolutely.
And I wasn't even on TV. I can't imagine
It was
what
very,
you deal with.
very hard, you know, because in the social media realm too, there is that background of hate. There are people that come kind of against you or jealous.
They'll
you know,
take pictures and pick apart, like, oh yeah, your foot wasn't pointed hard enough, and they'll like zoom it in really closely and like send you like the picture, like that was
so they can be like that. You know, it can be very harsh. So you know, in a way, like that's where I come in. I have to protect her from that. So a lot of the time, she's not reading comments or she's not worried about the negative.
Yeah,
you know, she can't be focused on that.
That's probably a really good
and it is a good thing. You know, so she you know, she has to be protected. But you know, all along though, it has been such a positive, and they're going to be a little negative with anything you do. So
you know what?
You know, you
anytime
take it,
you put yourself out there,
that's right,
and you share yourself with the world. You kind of almost have to be ready for it.
That's right.
But I'm not when I get the hate mail. I'm like, oh.
I know.
So I wasn't ready for that.
I wasn't ready for that.
And I try not to respond right away. I just have to take a step back and take a pause. Yeah. How do I respond in love?
Yeah. That's right. Yes.
Or maybe I just don't respond.
You don't even respond. And a lot of times we don't. It's click delete and it's gone. And if it's never happened. And that's on them. That's not on you. Yeah. You know, you have to remember you're God's child. You know, there is one and one of you only. You know, and so be you. Everybody's taken. You know, everybody else is always taken, so you have to be you know, so you know, tell them your motto, honey. I mean, your motto on Instagram.
I'm sure everyone would love to hear.
I mean, it's
give your God the best and leave the rest up to him.
Give God your best and leave the rest up to him. You know, because he's in control.
That's it. You are an offering.
Yes,
you are. Your life is your offering. We just wrote a song about that, and you're reminding me so much. I always try and challenge myself that we can let things refine us but not define us.
Absolutely.
Someone else's words about me, they can refine me and challenge me because there may be a shred of truth to it. Who knows? Maybe something that I said on stage was a little bit off the mark.
Yes.
We're not perfect.
No.
And so I always do want to filter it and take a second and go, okay, God, you know, if Holy Spirit, bring it to light. If there's something I said that was a little off or it wasn't completely true, show me.
Absolutely.
I'll let that refine me. But it's not going to define me. My mistakes don't define me.
Not at all.
You know, and my past, I don't even own my past. Like, God bought that.
Absolutely.
So
it's
like,
covered. You know, it's covered. And when we stand before God, He doesn't see us. He sees the blood of Jesus. And that is how we are able to enter in. And it is mind-blowing. Yeah. You know, it's so beautiful. So, you know, in such a way, we do have to remember, just give Him your best. And it is up to Him. It is up to Him what He does for it. Uses it for good. He's never going to use it for evil. Other people are going to have it in for you, but it never matters. You know, it doesn't matter. So okay, you guys help me, okay? Yeah.
I need some help with this one. So, are you guys competitive?
Probably yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because I'm an extremely competitive person.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't like to not win. I'm just going to be
Trust
honest.
me, I know, because like I beat my husband in everything and he never admits it.
He's on the side, you can't see him. He's like, hey, wait a second. But yeah, I can be very competitive and I can be very achievement oriented.
Very much.
In fact, sometimes like Holy Spirit will literally be like, your worth is found in me. Like it's not in winning, it's not in what you do. But how do you deal with that? I mean, it's a good thing. It's a good thing to work hard, right? Like you've gotten where you are from going, okay, God, this is from you. I'm going to do the best, like you said. But where's that line for you when it's like, oh man, now I'm defined by dance. I'm defined by what people see me as, not by the Lord. And how do you shift back into perspective?
Well, even what Abby's always taught us is even if we didn't get the award that we were expecting, we always have to be like, thank you. Like, thank you so much. Like, a little hug. Like, we always have to be like very like, okay, like I accept this and like I'm grateful for it.
Yeah.
And not really like you can't show anything.
Just be poised.
Yes.
And even if in that moment you're frustrated, you're learning to try and just be grateful in it.
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah.
I think that you know, in a way, when you have the mindset that there's always going to be somebody better, or there's always going to be something that isn't your strongest. You know what I mean? You are who you are because God has made you who you are. And I think that the biggest thing with her is always she wants to please everybody. Yeah. And I think that that's hard. That's hard it's hard. It's a hard burden
to please a judgmental person.
Yes,
exactly. You can't.
Yes,
Yeah.
You can't, you know. Yeah. I think that with her, she just continues to just strive forward. I think that with her, she hasn't won everything. She has come in second, come in third, come in fourth. So I think with her and then her training to boot, not everything every day is going to be perfect. And I think that if you can just pick up your bootstraps and move on to the next day and remember that maybe you did mess up the day before. Yeah. Maybe you didn't have the biggest trophy or
not every day is going to be an expectation.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, I just think that you just have to kind of just keep pushing forward.
I think people
Yeah.
appreciate that honesty too. Watching you guys going, okay, like they are still normal people.
Yeah. Very much.
You know? And you always hear about that. Like, I didn't watch the Mickey Mouse Club growing up or whatever, but we're doing podcasts because I love podcasts. And I've listened to like Christina Aguilera or whoever else on it.
Sure.
When they kind of, similar to you, got sort of recognized really young. Mm-hmm. And in those moments, you're young, you're learning, you're growing. But the ways they've used that as life has gone on.
Absolutely.
So this is just the beginning.
It is.
Right?
It really is. And she's just so blessed. And it's just amazing watching her journey. You know, being her mom and watching her and being on this journey with her. You know, we pick up and go. I mean, New York to LA to everywhere in between. And it's just such a magnificent life that she has been given. Yeah. So we just owe it all to God. Yeah. We really do. It's been amazing.
Would you guys like to do another show if you got the chance?
Oh, we would love to be
definitely.
On. Yeah. And she talks about it all the time. I mean, you don't have to let me tell her. Like, you can tell her. Like, if,
oh, yeah, definitely. Like, there's rumors that, like, even from Abby, that, like, Dance Moms was coming back here. I was like,
please, just my hometown. You know? Yeah. She wants to be with Abby. I mean, that's, you know, that's her calling.
Because, like, even, like, when she leased her studio to another person, like, we've stayed, like, everyone, we won, my whole team, we went to nationals, we won the whole competition, we came back, we split up. We haven't seen anybody since. Yeah. Oh. So it's been, like, everyone's separated from her, so we just kind of try to
stay loyal
and not, like, go with someone else to, like, make her mad or upset and,
we've stayed loyal. Yeah. You know, she placed her at her ballet academy at Pittsburg.
We texted her that summer. We're like, where the heck did we go? And she's like, go here.
You know, go
and that's where I've gone this is my third year going.
But it was amazing because one of the teachers that were at her studio taught
at Abby's.
So it was a placement that we knew was going to work. And she's been at home there for 3 years now. And that was only through the help of Abby. So we would never want to turn our back, you know. The show is just kind of icing on the cake. That is a huge blessing. And if that happens, that's amazing. But at the same time, if she comes back here, we're just going to be there for classes. You know, we're just going to be there, you know.
Just like how it was 3
years ago. Yeah. You know, we're just here for support. And she knows that. She knows we're not going anywhere. And she knows that we're dear, dear friends and how we feel about her is...
She knows that we pray for her.
Yeah. We love her.
She emailed us when she was in prison. And like, So,
Yeah. It is...
Oh, man. Like, I'm just thinking about how... on the road with my husband and my 2 kids. We're in public all the time. And sometimes, as a mom, parenting in public can be challenging. Because you're just like, everyone's sort of watching.
Everybody's watching.
And you know what? Not even necessarily judging, but I could even take it that way, even though they're not.
Sure.
And sometimes you want your kids to be perfect, but they're just not.
They're not.
And you want to be perfect, and you're not.
Exactly.
And so all of those factors, was that hard for you as a mom on TV, parenting, people seeing this story that's being created? Like, how did you deal with that? It is
so hard because, you know, you can say something and, like I said, they completely spin it. So it depends upon what it was. I mean, my character was not great on that show, you know?
Yeah.
But at the same time, my relationship with her is strong enough that we know what it meant, or we know what we were going through, you know? So at the same time, you have to kind of position yourself outside of the reality that you're in.
You gotta kind of pull yourself out of it.
Yeah, you
That's
have
hard
to
to do.
stay
That's
grounded.
like-
It is. It so is. And I'll tell you, it was sleepless nights on my knees, bawling my eyes out.
Like she'd come home and she'd crying.
How do I get
to,
through this? How do I get through this? I know it was an awesome opportunity for her.
Because it was like, at the time, it was like, why are we putting ourselves through this?
Yeah. Sometimes
it got
it's
better
like
as
that.
it went.
Yes.
Like, the last couple episodes I was on, like, those were, like, the best ones I've ever been on. And that was, like, Abby wasn't screaming. Like, there was no crying involved. There was no producers saying, like, oh, yeah, you have to scream at her now.
Yeah.
Make her cry and run out of the room.
That would happen?
It would
Yeah.
happen. It would
Make
happen.
her cry? Oh my goodness.
It would happen.
Yep.
So as a mom
wow.
to watch it is very hard. We just knew that it was being, I know it's so cliche to say, but we knew where God stood in it. Because if you could have seen the road to get to it, he was around every single corner. There would be something that happened almost on a daily basis within the studio, or with a producer that was just there filming the show and we were just a bystander. There were so many little tiny things that I could write a book on how he guided us. He guided us to that point.
You could see him in every
You really
point
could.
of that.
You really
Do you
could.
feel like your relationship with God got more honest?
You have no idea.
Yeah,
I mean, that
definitely.
is exactly, that's the truth. That is the truth, because when you're going through trials and tribulations and you're in it and you know God has led you there, but then in it, you're having those
Life gets
life
real.
gets real and
Yep.
messy.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, Lord, I know you sent me here. I know you're going to make good out of this, but I don't see it right now.
No. And I just want to cry in my pillow.
You
and
do.
Like,
And-
not show up tomorrow.
And that is what sometimes and I would show up and I'd go back because it was a job and I know I had to do it.
A lot of the time I'd fight her to go back because I didn't want to go back.
Sometimes she wouldn't,
I wouldn't
I mean, that's a lot to deal with.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
I mean, when you're like 7 and 8 years old, like, oh, you just want to be with your friends and have fun at dance, and it's like,
you want to be
It's
loved.
become your life.
You know, you want to be loved. You want
Right.
security.
Yeah.
You know, there was a time we were in LA. I locked ourselves in our hotel, and I said, "I'm not filming."
because
I'm
the
not.
producers made her do something, and Abby like completely flipped out, and they wanted us to
keep
they
fighting
wanted
with
us to
her,
do
and
something.
I'm like, look,
she's like, I'm not doing
I'm
that.
not doing it.
I'm not
My
gonna do it.
integrity and my
Wow.
faith are more important than a television show or being paid or whatever. And my relationship with Abby was never harsh. It was only
it was
harsh
even-
when it was on the show.
It was even
When a producer's telling
when
you.
the producer's telling you.
It was even difficult when we were in LA doing that. The next couple of days we were in Vegas at Nationals, and it was everything went back to normal.
We
Our
were with
relationship
them,
with
you
her,
know,
it's completely 100% fine.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a show. And
It's a
that's-
show.
You gotta like.
Yeah. You
So
gotta-
you
you
have
gotta
to
put it in
separate it.
perspective.
You have to
Man.
separate and you have to keep that perspective. But when you're going through it, it is very difficult to say,
Man.
So, yeah.
Wow, I can only imagine.
It
I
was.
mean,
It was
you're
crazy.
right. Like, God calls you to something, you're excited about it, but it doesn't mean that along the journey, there's not a ton of super intense times.
It can be.
And it can
Yes.
just, like we said, refine us, not define us.
That's
and
right.
I am so encouraged by your story. I'm glad that we
Thank
can
you.
meet.
I'm so glad too.
We're going to have to do a part 2, but for now...
We are, yes.
I know
Stay
that
tuned.
everybody... Stay
Yes.
tuned. We'll have to
Stay
do part
tuned.
2
Yes.
where we talk like makeup, hair products,
we will.
outfits.
Oh,
okay, wait, before we go, what's your favorite thing to dance in? Like, do you like flowy, floofy, or like sleek?
Well, for like more stage, I like more like flowy like skirts, because it's like a lot of our dances have like choreographed, like, oh yeah, you pull your skirt here, you pick it up here, like
It's a prop almost.
Yeah.
It is a
Okay,
Yeah.
got you.
Yes.
for dance, like for just like rehearsal and stuff, I like more like leggings, like a sports bra,
That makes
like
sense.
more like tight fitted clothes.
Comfortable.
Yeah, like more
very
comfortable, because you gotta be able to like lift your leg up
Yeah.
and still be comfortable. Like you
I
can't,
don't know how
can't
you
do
do
that
the
in
lift
jeans.
the leg up thing. I don't.
Lots of practice.
My goodness. So before we go, do you have a favorite hair product? How does this happen? Is this natural?
Well, my hair's like naturally gotten curly throughout the years.
It's such a nice wave.
It's like kind of frizzy though. Like, I used to have bangs. I used to have bangs, and they're like tiny, tiny little short pieces.
Oh, yeah,
like,
I understand.
It's like frizzy. And so I feel like when I curl my hair, like I'm like me more. Because if I straighten my hair is curled by the end of the day anyway.
Yeah, sure.
So my hair gets curlier throughout the day, so I can brush it out and it be like not any kind of waves, and it'll like scrunch up and be
so is
super
that,
curly.
I feel like you just hit on a really good definition of beauty. Is that what it is for you the most, just being yourself?
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I feel like when we're the most confident is when we're comfortable in our own skin.
Yeah. That's right. Yep.
And I think that's what I see in you, which is, I think, a real cool thing.
Thank you.
and I mean, you're beautiful inside and out. So it's great to meet you guys.
You too, Jody.
Thank you
for coming.
Oh, it was so much fun.
Such a blessing. Yeah. Absolutely.
Awesome. God connects paths in just such super cool ways.
Yes, He can.
Definitely.
Yes.
Man, guys, hope you enjoyed it.